Aloha friends, welcome. Today I want to talk about decluttering the home. Okay, so as you know, I started off by creating a capsule wardrobe for myself. And then I ended up creating capsule wardrobes for my children, and then my husband ended up creating one for himself. I never made him do it, that's not my style. And that's really actually a thing in, when you're purging, you're decluttering in minimalism, is only declutter or purge your own things. Don't do your partners. Okay, if your kids are young enough, then you can do theirs, but if they're older, then maybe work with them and encourage them to do it. But you shouldn't really throw away other people's things without talking to them first about it, obviously. So as I said, I did the clothes first. I was never really planning to become a minimalist. I didn't even really know what it was. I just had this idea in my head of what minimalism was, which was like super, stark decor, very, very edited spaces that I saw in magazines and in books, which I was always attracted to, but I didn't think that that was something that was possible with a family. And then I stumbled upon Joshua Becker, and he really inspired me to declutter our home. So as I said, at that point I'd already done the wardrobe, and I didn't even really think of it as minimalist. It's just the way that I'd grown up as a child in Europe, and that was working beautifully for us. So then, as I said, I did the toys, and then I recognized the benefits of this, and I just really I feel like I kind of caught a little bit of the declutter bug, and I ended up doing the rest of the house. Now, at that time, I didn't know, because I was just kind of figuring it out as I went. There weren't a lot of, this was before even like Marie Kondo, before she published her book or before I read it. So what I did was, but I realize now that there is a better system to it. And I wish I'd known now, or I wish I'd known then what I know now. But really, clothes are the best thing to start with. Then another area that's really good to do is your fridge and freezer. And I'm not a minimalist as far as food is concerned, and I'll talk about that in a separate video, but really purging and decluttering the food that you have on hand. So now on a regular basis, I do, so let me back up, I'm getting ahead of myself. So for the kitchen, like, start with the fridge and the freezer. Pull everything out, wipe the fridge down, put back only things that are not expired, and let there be some logic to your organization without your fridge. So this is what I found has worked really well for us. Condiments go in the fridge door, and the condiments that we use the most I have them in one container, and those are things like, and they'll be different for every family, but it could be things like maybe what you want on your dinner table most nights might be like ketchup and mustard sriracha. I think we have soy sauce, and I think that might be it. Excuse me, maybe barbecue sauce. So we have all of that in one plastic bin, and then when my kids set the table, they just pull out the whole bin, put it on the table. When we're done with it, all the condiments go back and get snapped back into the fridge door. So that was really handy. Anyway, condiments all in the door. Then my top shelf of the fridge is drinks on the left, and eggs on the right. And we eat a lot. So we have I have growing boys, so I get the Costco size 24 organic trays, and I will have 2 or 3 of those stacked on the right hand side. And then I put my butter in front of it. Next shelf down are all of my leftovers, and all of my leftovers, I store them in glass Tupperware containers. It's the set that you can get from Costco. So it's a glass container with a plastic lid that snaps on. I always do that, and the reason I do that is because then the leftovers can be pulled out and reheated in the microwave, because I don't like to use plastic to begin with, and especially reheating food in plastic. So this way I can just take the lid off, put a paper towel over top of it, reheat it, boom, it's on the table. So I love it. So I got rid of all my plastic Tupperware containers for that reason. So that's my second shelf. It's all my leftovers. Then my third shelf is all of I don't even know what to call them, like my bigger condiments, I guess, like the big jar of mayo, our hummus, our yogurt, and that's also where I'll have like my yogurt stacked on the left. And I think like any meat, if there's, I don't really cook very much meat, but let's say I have a pack of something that I got, then I'll keep it there. And then now the shelf underneath it is all the veggies. So this is where I will have my big container, because we always have 1 or 2 containers of the organic spring mix from Costco or from the grocery store. That's our salad mix. And then I'll have a few bags of spinach, and then I'll have other veggies that I may have purchased. So that's my veggie shelf, and then underneath it, veggie drawer and my fruit drawer. Okay. And then also where the leftovers are, or where all of my, I said like snacky and condiments are, that's also if we happen to have bread in the house that is not frozen, because I have to be gluten-free. So that's in the freezer. But other things like bagels for the kids, that kind of stuff, or hot dog hamburger buns, they would be on either one of those shelves, to the side, to the right. So organizationally, when I open up my fridge, I want to be able to see, what do I have? What do I need to use up? What can I cook with? So that's the fridge side. The freezer side is also organized, and that is ice on the top. Typically it's just ice on the top shelf with the ice maker. And then underneath I will have any kind of frozen box stuff on the next 2 shelves. If I have frozen vegetables, those, or stir fry mixes, those typically go in the door. All my baked goods, because I store a lot of my baked ingredients and sugars and flours and things like that, I store that in the door. I store my frozen bread in the door, and I just organize it by category. And then the 2 bottom, because we have a commercial sized fridge and freezer, so they're huge. So the 2 bottom drawers of the freezer are, one is it's all fruit, because my kids eat a lot of frozen fruit. And I try to go to Costco only every couple of weeks. And I can do a separate video on how I budget, and how budgeting, especially our groceries, has allowed us to become financially independent and to achieve financial freedom. But so then the 2 bottom drawers are, the top one is all fruits. If I have, sometimes I will put a little bit of vegetables in it, but typically no, it just goes in the drawer, as I said. And then the bottom drawer is all protein. That's where I keep my fish. If I have a little bit of like chicken for like bone broth soup and stuff, if I freeze tofu, then it's in there as well. So, and that allows me to really keep a good inventory of what's going on with the food.